Live breaking news coverage here from WBZ. The president of Columbia Gas is addressing the press about the gas explosions in the Merrimack Valley.
The Merrimack Valley, truly hurting, and our hearts go out to the citizens, the members of the community. We offer our sincere, deepest condolences to the family and friends. London. As we all search for a cause and the circumstances that led to yesterday's tragic event, we're focused on ensuring the safety of our customers and the communities that we live and work in. We're committed to this community in returning residents to their homes. That, to me, is the focus of this, is to let these citizens come home. Starting today, the National Transportation Safety Board is taking the lead in the investigation. We will support the National Transportation Safety Board and the other parties with all the resources and information they need to complete their investigation. From this point forward, they will be the primary source of information on the investigation, and this will obviously take time. Our focus today and in the coming days is to support the Merrimack Valley and ensure the safety of the communities that we serve. We're extremely grateful for the community's patience and understanding, as well as the tremendous support that we have received from first responders, law enforcement, and fellow utilities. Those impacted by Thursday's events in the Merrimack Valley can contact us via our dedicated customer service line at 1-866-388-3239. Additional updates will also be made available on our website, www.columbiagasma.com. Again, we thank the community for its patience. I also want to note that we are opening a claims hotline, and let me give you that telephone number. 1-800-590-5571. We have also made arrangements with the City of Lawrence to open a claims center. We will open that claims center on Sunday at 9 and have hours till 5 o'clock. And then on subsequent days, starting on Monday, we will be available from 8 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon until such time as those services are no longer needed by the community. So those services will be at the Lawrence Public Library, 51 Lawrence Street, Lawrence, Massachusetts. So to give you an update on where we stand, our task before us at the moment is to shut off service to all approximately 8,000 customers that were involved in this incident. As of 3 p.m. this afternoon, we have shut off service to 3,230 customers, of which 1,851 are in Lawrence, 710 in Andover, and 711 in North Andover. As of 4 p.m. this afternoon, we had in the field 107 contractors, 189 Columbia Gas employees, for a total of 296 field resources. Also, the contractors who are providing service now and the other utilities are planning to bring additional resources tomorrow, and we will see, in addition, 100 employees from our affiliate companies in Pennsylvania and Ohio. We expect that the electric restoration process, that is, electric restoration once we have an area where all of the gas lines are shut off, should begin this evening. So with that, I will take questions.
Brian, where have you been for the past 23 hours? Why is it that the mayor and the governor were out here just about 20 minutes ago declaring a state of emergency, basically saying that you and your company have been nowhere to be seen to mismanage the effort to fix the problem here in these two communities?
We've been using all our resources to get this project as far down the road as possible. I respect the governor's judgment. The governor has the same interest as we do. We want to restore service to these customers.
But Mr. Bryan, he says you've been hiding from the problem, that you've not been transparent. He says you have been hiding from the problem and that you have not been transparent about the nature of the disaster and your recovery. Have you been forthcoming enough with the state officials?
We have been meeting with the state officials on a very regular basis. We have had substantive, lengthy conversations with wide groups of public officials, a number of them hosted by the governor.
Sir, you've not been at the microphone. We haven't seen you in 23 hours. We've been to 10 press conferences since yesterday, and every press conference that we've been at, the Columbia Gas officials have not been here.
I think the governor and public safety officials did an excellent job of representing the situation. We focus on the restoration of service and bringing the resources to bear to be able to rectify the problem. And I think that's really where we needed to be.
So should there be a state of emergency? Are you saying that the governor is wrong by declaring a state of emergency because who's in charge? Your company or Eversource?
I'm not saying that the governor's wrong at all. The governor has, as I said, the same interest as we do, which is restoring service as quickly as possible. And if the judgment of the governor is that bringing Eversource into the mix then that's what we will do, and we will support that approach to
Sir,
this.
a simple question a lot of people are asking who are out of their homes and don't have power or gas service. When will it be safe for people to go back home?
Well, we're continuing to work on shutting gas service off. In addition, we need to get access to each building. I expect that by Saturday or Sunday, we will have covered all 8,000 customers.
And people will be able to go back home by then?
Yes, that is my expectation.
Stephen, do you know the source of the problem now? Where sort of the initial problem started? Do you know now the initial source of the problem and the amount of pressure in the gas line in question?
I'm sorry, given the fact that the National Transportation Safety Board has taken over the investigation, it is a requirement of that arrangement that they are the ones who make the statements regarding any cause. I think that's excellent. They're experts on the investigation. So and it's been my experience over the years that they share information.
Have you taken any disciplinary action against any of your employees? Have any of your employees been removed from their position or had any disciplinary action taken against them?
I have no evidence or any reason to take any action against any employee at this point.
Was this preventable, sir? Was this preventable? Was it a mistake? Was it an error? What happened?
Again, as I said, the National Transportation Safety Board is doing the investigation, and that is part of what they will do, and they will make that determination.
Sir, was this disaster suggested that you guys waited hours and hours to call in help from other energy companies, mutual aid, because you didn't want to have to flip the bill? What did you say to that?
We waited till approximately 2 o'clock in the morning following the day of the incident because we needed to make a determination as to what type of resources we needed. We operate under what's called the Northeast Gas Association's mutual assistance arrangement, and so we contacted the Northeast Gas Association, and they coordinated providing the resources.
Were the conditions that you've made representations that you're going to have certain things done by a certain time and that you haven't met those deadlines? Why should the people believe that you would be done on it, say, getting them back in their homes by Saturday or Sunday?
Generally, I would say that we've advanced this as rapidly as it could possibly be advanced. I don't think that anybody else managing this would have been further down the road than we are at the moment.
So how do you respond to the fact that he said you wasted time? Less than half of the people who are out of their homes have had their homes checked. How do you respond to that?
It's very difficult to check the people's homes. As you know, it was requested people evacuate the area, particularly in Lawrence. So we have a very difficult time inspecting people's homes because, at least it's my understanding up to this point, that there's still severe restrictions for the citizens who live in South Lawrence to be able to get into that area of the community. That's an essential element of this, is to be able to get inside access to each building.
What happened here yesterday? That's where the
people feel safe.
What is it?
We are sorry. We're sorry and deeply concerned about the inconvenience. This is the sort of thing that a gas distribution company hopes never happens. And what we are doing now is to try to provide all of the resources that we possibly can to be able to correct the damage. I think that the claim center is just a good example of a good way to be able to allow the citizens, particularly of Lawrence, to be able to have easy access to reach the company and have a discussion about claims they may have.
I was here yesterday at all related to ongoing work to repair leaking pipes across the region.
I'm sorry, again, regarding the cause of this, I'm going to leave it to the National Transportation Safety Board to answer those questions. Can I take one more question?
Please, go ahead. Put the gas back on in people's houses sometime over the weekend. How can you guarantee people that they should feel safe and that what we watched yesterday isn't going to happen again and other people's houses aren't going to blow up?
Again, since I can't say what the cause of this particular incident was, we have a tremendous track record, not only Columbia Gas in Massachusetts, but its affiliated companies. I think that we will be very careful and very methodical about restoring service, and we'll take all of the advice and counsel that we can get from in particular the Department of Public Utilities Pipeline Safety Division. We'll work in close collaboration with them to make sure that the service is safe when we restore it. So that's it. I'd like to thank you very much.
You've been listening to Steve Bryant, the president of Columbia Gas. It is the first time we have seen him step in front of a microphone to address what happened yesterday after a series of explosions rocked the Merrimack Valley, Lawrence, North Andover, and Andover, saying that they are still in the process of trying to get to some 8,000 customers to turn off the gas to their homes. So far, they have gotten to just more than 3,000 customers, leaves almost 5,000 more that they have to get to, and people can't go home until that process is complete.
And what we've seen today really are two completely different interpretations of the events of the last day or so. The governor and the mayor of Lawrence, Dan Rivera, saying that they didn't really feel they were getting satisfactory answers from Columbia Gas. The president of the company just now saying he met regularly with public officials led by the governor and was communicating with them. He does say he welcomes, as he put it, Eversource into the mix. Well, the governor says he's putting Eversource in charge of this effort now because of his lack of confidence in what Columbia has done so far. So we're going to wrap things up right now. We have more updates, of course, on CBSBoston.com. We'll have the very latest. David Wade and Lisa Hughes live from the Merrimack Valley, beginning on WBZ News at 5.